Hello everybody. A couple minutes early here, so I'll give everybody a second to sign in. 2 seconds here. Alright, just answering a message. Oh man, Ashraful's here on Behance. Hey bud, how's it going? We haven't seen you in a while. Alright, let's get rid of this. Alright. Okay, let's get going. I'm really excited about this. So since last week I have not done any watercolors. Oh, hang on. I gotta have the Instagram joining us here, so give me 2 seconds. So I didn't work on my watercolors since last week because I was busy. I traveled on the weekend. It was a crazy week. I had to get a couple other things done. I think you probably saw like the new bookmark went up last week. So it's just been a busy week. So I wanted to make sure that, hang on buddy, you're okay. So I didn't get a chance to do as much watercolor as one would have hoped. Let's see how this works today. Okay, so I didn't get any more watercolors, hoping to get to a digital stage here today, but we are not. They're not ready yet. So we're gonna do a little bit more watercolor today and definitely get to a point of digital next week. Ashwell says, not a morning person, that's why it's 6 a.m. here. Oh my goodness, I forget, where are you again? 6 a.m. That's not really my jam. I get up really early in the morning too, but not very people-y. So I do appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Well, I guess this morning in your case. Wow, yeah, that's pretty early. So I'll try and keep it on the low-key side so it's not too much first thing in the morning. Okay, so for those of you who haven't tuned in yet, that's a little twisty, you know? There we go. So we are doing some gnomes. We're doing our base colors here. Oh, one day I'll figure this out. Just getting some base watercolor down here, get some shapes. These guys need a lot of work today, so I think we're going to start with these guys. But just getting some base colors down and ready for, we'll see how they go today. Maybe I'll get some pencil crayon in this week, and then we'll go to a digital stage next week with a couple of them here as well. So we're just going to keep going, just laying out some colors and everything else. So that's what we're going to keep doing today. Ashraful is from Bangladesh. That is fantastic. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. That is so much fun. Oh, and we have Alessandra here tonight. Alessandra, I'm so glad I was able to catch some of your stream this afternoon. I didn't have meetings this afternoon, so I was actually able to watch on my iPad, which was great. And Alessandra's going to be drawing too. That's fantastic. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all coming in. This is so much fun. So glad you got a big group this afternoon. That's pretty cool. For me, it was like 2 in the afternoon, so it's kind of a weird time. But luckily, like, no meetings and stuff, and my Wi-Fi was playing the game. Hi, handsome. Can you say hi, everybody? All right, so let's get a little bit more. Hang on. Okay, he wants to say hi. Mojo says hi. You say hi, everybody? Yes. Okay, you're gonna go play with Big Quiet Boy, okay? Go play. Good boy. Okay, so everybody says, what's up, Mojo? Alrighty, so we're actually going to start on the left one today. I remembered that on my drive home from work today, so I don't start on the right one and then have to wait because my hand is going to all smoosh him. Okay, so let's get... What color do I want? Maybe just like a light gray, I think. Everybody says, what's up, Mojo? He's just such a tired guy. We had a road trip this weekend. He's so tired. Poor Mojo. Okay, so you can't see that. Let's try and fix this. There we go. Let's play so that everybody can see. Oh, man. So yeah, we're going to do one more round of a little bit of color here, just getting some bases down. The digital stuff won't take too long. I didn't find, at least on the ones I did last year, just because I really want the watercolor to speak through in the end. I don't want to be doing a lot of alterations to them. I'm going to be going in, just adding some shadows, adding some lines, maybe adjusting some colors. I know like the sweater weather gnome, I definitely changed the colors quite a bit in there just because they weren't working. So we'll just kind of work on that too. So we made like some of the, like if the colors aren't working quite right or they're not coming together, it's easy to adjust with the hues and saturations and things. So we'll see if it comes together nicely, but really it's just going to be very simple, low key, because I still want them to have that kind of handmade look. But the digital helps me get them be a little bit more in a printable state too, which is nice. Alexander says, me too. I did a lot this weekend. I'm still tired. Yeah, long weekend. But you know, mine was really good. It was a good, busy weekend. But yeah, we're all on the tired side. I use my weekends to recharge. So when I don't recharge on my weekends, it's all crazy during the week. But that's okay. It was for good reasons. Oh, right. Alessandra did her first part of the art therapy workshop on Saturday. How did it go? Was it awesome? Full house, 19 people. That's fantastic. Good for you. I'm so glad you had that good turnout. That is so much fun. Oh, before I run out of paint. That's good. That means they'll just ask you back to do more sessions for you. Don't like an odd number. Well, if you count yourself, it's an even number. So there you go. So just throwing down a little bit of color and washes here. There's lots of things I could do with, sorry, we got a brush fuzzy here. Come on, you. Off the paper. It's not for you. A lot of things I could do with textures and things, but I'm just going to wait to see how the line art works. I don't want it to be too crazy. I want these to really just kind of speak for themselves. So we're not going to get into textures or anything just yet here. Part 2's in 2 weeks. Already full. Amazing. You must be doing so good. I'm so excited for you. That is a lot of fun. Now, I think I'm worried we have too much purple here. I have friends who would disagree. Maybe a little bit more blue. I just want these there. This little guy's got some mittens on, holding, or did I want this to be, I wanted it to be the normal hands. Curses. Now I have mixed paint. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Okay, so that was an inner turmoil. I mixed some paint because I thought I had put mitts on this gnome to hold the heart, but I think it's just hands instead of mitts. Mitts are what's on the other guy here, and I don't want it to get too purpley and too much blended in. I think if I did put the blue there, the mitts wouldn't be clear. But then I get very stressy about wasting paint, so we're gonna add some shadows in here. Is what we're gonna do. Because her hands are going to be hands, like bare hands. So I want it to be the same color as the nose, and that's sticking out there. I think the mitts would make it a little unclear what's going on. So we're just adding a little more depth to what we already have here. Just giving it a little bit more definition and fun, lively strokes to give it an energy. When I did my first round of these guys, I just wanted to draw them and give them a try. I didn't know that they were going to explode the way they did, but I did the first three. So I had the sunflower, the celebration gnome, and a different gnome. There's a third one, but it wasn't this. It wasn't the sweater weather gnome. It's a different one. It just didn't come together the way I wanted it to. So it's not quite done yet. But the I was doing the watercolor in a open studio at Hello Maker here, and a lady came by and she goes, "These have a vibe." So I like that. I like that watercolor energy. So trying to get as much of that in here as we can. Our rainy day gnome is pretty much ready to go. So I just want to make sure I have some of that energy in the rest of these guys. Oh dear. A little bit more paint here. I also find, like, I like to have this energy here, but I also find that the pressure going into the digital next, the pressure's kind of off, that I can clean up some lines or edges and stuff a little bit later. So it takes that kind of like stress barrier. Hang on, buddy. No, come here, please. To me. Mojo. Good boys, quiet. Come here. Sorry, team. Ashful says, I love that purple color flow. Thank you so much. Yes, this one's coming together really nicely. It usually just needs that extra one more color to it. To give it a little bit of energy. Like, I think already giving that little bit of a blue, we've got a really good energy happening here, which is really great. It's that 10 more minutes, guys. 10 more minutes to just give it that energy and give it that what it needs. Because like I said, the rainy day gnome has come together all on his own really nice and quick. But the other ones I haven't been too sure about, but already giving it a few more minutes, this one's kind of coming together really nicely. So Ashraful, what does your day ahead bring you? Hopefully awesome, fun things. 6 a.m. Whew. Yeah. So let me think. Since our last meeting, I think I posted, I don't think the bookmark was ready for the stream last week. So I finished my garden bookmark, ready to go. It's a coloring bookmark, so it's black and white lines, and it's meant to be coloring, meant to be colored, so like a coloring page. And then earlier I had finished a houseplants one. We did that one on the live, or most of it anyway. I have a couple more coming. The shop update is March 1st, so people are going to be able to buy these in time for Easter, which is super exciting. Super ready for that. Well, super excited for that. Let's not say ready. There's lots to do, but that's what this weekend and next weekend are for. It's going to be so good. A little more definition in the braids here, so let's put that here. You can see I'm very good at cleaning my color palette. But some of the colors are actually working for me, so I'm not going to fight it too hard, but I should probably wash this up tonight. Start from scratch. So I worked on that. I worked on the bookmark. We have another couple bookmarks that are going to be coming our way. When these are ready, I'm going to be getting them digital. But we'll be working on that next week. I'll try not to get too far ahead on those just yet. Then what else? What else? Oh, so the nature of a lot of my like big idea type projects, I get the best idea either when I don't need it anymore or when I'm absolutely working on anything else that needs all my focus and attention. So an example of this, I was in school, we had this project we had to do, and I'm gonna mess up the kind of context of it, but there had to be like, we went to Niagara Falls on a field trip, and then we had to do kind of like a triptych, so 3 panels that I can't remember if it had to show a timeline, but it was like 3 elements of Niagara history or something that we saw when we were there or learned or whatever. And I just was stuck the whole time. I had I didn't love my idea. I felt it was the most basic idea. I think I did 3 panels, and one was like kind of like the nature of Niagara Falls, then how it got a little bit more touristy, and then it was just like overflowed with like casino stuff. I was not a fan of the project from the beginning to the end. In the critiques, I was just not proud of the project, and because I felt it was like a really basic idea. And then like we handed in the project, we did it, I got my medium grade, and it was fine. But like 4 days later, I woke up with a brilliant idea for it, and I'm so upset. So you get that, like, I didn't need the idea anymore, I wasn't working on the project, and then the idea came in. So last week I forgot what I was working on. I was working and then I was playing around with Firefly a little bit, and then I was writing down some notes and ideas, and like this huge project that I've had in my head for a few years that I've kind of put on the back burner and kind of just was coming to terms with the fact that I was just never going to do it because it was so big and I'd been roadblocked on it for so long that I was probably just never going to do it. I got a huge breakthrough on it. And like something that should have been really obvious, because what was holding me back was the style. I had the whole idea down. I have it planned out to the tiniest detail. So excited for it. But I was getting really hung up on the style. And I was thinking like, I got to test things. I got to make sure it's right before I get started and blah, blah, blah. And then what I came up with was like blatantly obvious. And so I'm a little embarrassed that it's been taking me this long, especially in the work that I've been doing over the past year or two. So I'm not being vague on purpose. I really want to get this project up and running before I tell anybody about it, because I have lots to do here. I'm also working really hard to make sure that project doesn't just derail everything here. But I had a huge breakthrough, which makes me even more excited to be in the studio. So it's all good things. Alessandra says that happens to her sometimes. Like 4 a.m. and I get these ideas and I don't write them down and I end up forgetting. That's happened to me so many times where like same thing, 4 a.m, and I'm like, that's too good of an idea. There's no way I'll forget about that in the morning. And I'll forget about it in the morning. So I sleep with a notebook beside my bed now. I just have to encourage myself to get up and actually write the idea down. It's a bit of a challenge sometimes. But yeah, so I have an idea. I have a style ready to go. It's just one of those things you have to be very careful not to let it derail all this fun stuff. Because mostly like that project is going to be for me, but I'll be like obviously sharing it and working on it, but I want to do these ones first. Who needs sleep? Ain't no time for sleep. Okay. Now, I should probably do a little bit more on this heart. Can we? Maybe this would be more fun to watch. Let's see. I'm still trying to figure out my system here. Yeah, let's try that. That might be a little more better. Got playing around with my setup here, so I want to make sure that everybody can see. There's a good boy. Yep. I don't want that much of that. Let's try this. I'm just going to add a little bit more elements because the little water splooge thing that we did last week just didn't dry as visibly as I would have liked. So it's okay. All the colors are still here. We can play around with them. We can also enhance some of that when we bring it into fresco. Hey, Nathan. How are things tonight? All these fun faces. Let's see who we got. Okay, so I think we have enough. Wow, nice painting. Thanks, Nathan. We're using watercolor tonight. I'm just getting some bases down for a few gnomes that we're going to put into fresco next week. But I want to get this fun watercolor energy onto the paper here. Okay, let's make so you can actually see some of the colors I might be picking. There we go. Put my red over here. Should take a picture of this. It looks, it's all squished on my desk. I have a lot of room to spread out, but I want to make sure you guys can see what's happening. Okay, this guy. Yeah, we kind of like last minute tossed the bottom of his toque in here, eh? Still not sure. Something just wasn't clicking last week for this guy. So let's get some more color in here and see what we can't get running. I think what we could do Alessandra's drawing a dog using a guitar. That's a fun trick. Do you want to try that one, Mojo? No, I don't want to learn that trick. It would be a pretty cool trick. Especially considering the guitar is like, at least weighs like 10 times as much as Mojo. It's much bigger than Mojo. Oh, ugh, I just don't like it. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I will pull some of this color into here. It just feels so disconnected right now because I didn't put that kind of brim in until last week at the end, and we had already had all the other kind of blues and stuff in here, so it feels like an afterthought. So it'll just take a little bit of work to pull it in. Nathan says, I'm trying to draw a Mercedes-Benz AMG G63. My goodness. Lots of detail on that. And Asheville Full says, inspirations hit better in a messy room than in an organized room. You are correct, sir. You are correct. And it's unfortunate because that justifies some of my studio clutter. But you're not wrong. And creating a postcard for a coworker with things he likes. Oh, that's so cool. We do a thing at our work. We haven't done it in a while because, well, we had one guy retire last year, I guess. But there was we're a team of illustrators. And then when one of our teammates would retire, we had an illustrator who would do caricatures. And they do caricatures of that person who's retiring with all the things that they like. So like depending on the person, like golf clubs or traveling or whatever else, and they're always pretty hilarious. So postcards are a good idea. I have some watercolor postcards here actually, which I should actually paint and send to people. Oh, the person's leaving from work, so going to Texas. Nathan's in Houston, Texas. Oh my goodness. Do you get Houston, we have a problem as much as I do? I get it all the time. Everybody thinks they're so funny. And I also think that the first person to ever say it to me and my family. And I've never been. I should probably go at some point. Okay, I think what I want to do here is let's get some of this beard done here. Now I'm picturing kind of like, I want to stick with the kind of wintry colors here, so I'm gonna put a little bit of blue, put more gray. Get in here with that. Yeah, I was saying I have like the watercolor postcards here and I should send them, and I always think like, oh, maybe if I'm on a trip or something I could do some watercolors, because like when I went to Paris I just had like the picture of just kind of like watercoloring in a cafe, just like would be so perfect. But then I was like, you know what, I should just make some postcards and just send them to people. Like my cousin did a really cool thing year before. Anyway, she got this really cool pack of postcards with all these kind of like inspirational quotes and things like that, and she just sent people postcards that were like, this quote makes me think of you and thank you for this and that, and it was just really nice to get a postcard like that from her. So it was just like random ones, like as she was thinking of somebody, so I suspect she might still be sending them. But I was like, that's a cool idea, so maybe that's what we can do here, is just do some of my own postcards and then send them out to people. Because everybody likes to get fun mail. Like I had a mailbox full of stuff today and it was all like taxes and bills and nothing fun. People like to get fun mail. That's why I like sending Christmas cards, because they're fun and colorful and bright. Okay, so move this over a little bit. Oh, Graham can't see. Oh gosh, what a setup. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put in a little bit of the, oh gosh, too much. I just want a little hint of blue for the snow here. And again, I'm going to outline this in fresco because I don't know if I want to do a black line or not. I got to do some tests to see what will work out. But I just want a hint of the blue so that we know where the snow's at. And then Nathan says it's actually very nice in Houston. There's not many mosquitoes in the spring and summer, and it's not that hot. Hey, that sounds nice. I don't like the heat. That's not my thing. So, I'll add it to the list of places to go. There's so many. See what we've got here. Oh, too much water is what we have here. Okay, I just forgot to put some of the colors here. There's a little bit too much paint, so I'm just kind of pulling the color through the water here. So there's, yes, I'm up in Canada, yes. So I'm in the land of cooler weather. All my snow is gone in my area, but there are places with snow still left. It was pretty cool today, though. I had to scrape the frost off the car this morning. Always a fun time. Okay, a little bit more. That's too much, too much, too much. Okay. Alrighty, and then we're gonna have this. He's gonna be holding a tiny little snowman, but I think that's gonna be mostly done in fresco because it's so tiny. And watercolor usually needs bigger brushes to support. I have some tiny brushes, but I think I'm not going to get that far with those. Okay, so these pages are very wet. Here we are with our snow gnome and our Valentine's gnome. There we go. We're going to let those dry, and I'm going to move on to the other two. We have Nildo here. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Where are we tuning in from today? Okay, these are our other two we're going to work on. So we've got our groovy daisy gnome. I have a different plan for the daisy. It's still going to be a daisy, but I'm gonna do it in digital because I'm not a huge fan of my sketch there. And then our fabulous rainy day gnome. This guy's coming together so well. I'm living for this guy right now. So we might not work on him too much because I'm really liking where he's at, but we'll see. Maybe a couple more shadows or something. His energy is so much fun. So Nathan says, my niece is in Calgary and I'm planning to visit her this summer. Calgary's a lot of fun. I do like Calgary. I've been there once, and it was, I'm trying to think of the time of year. It was spring, I think, early summer that I went, and it was so much fun. Definitely recommend it. It's so cool because we went to like Lake Louise, and then like the next day we went to Drumheller. And so that's, if you're not sure, you're in like kind of glacier water, kind of rich, lush areas, to like Drumheller, which is like desert almost. And they're maybe a couple hours apart. It's crazy. But Calgary's a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy it. And no snow over in Bangladesh. How unfortunate. But I'm sure you have lots of different weather that I'm not used to. So I do love a place where I can get some snow, though. That's always my favorite. We have Cheris here. Is that how I pronounce it? Thanks for tuning in tonight. Okay. I'm just getting nervous running my water over top of my paper here. So let's try that. Okay, our groovy gnome needs a little bit of attention here. So what I did on the first week we did these was I did a heavy wash on this guy. Lots of water, and just kind of threw some colors in. And I really like the effect we have, but now... Then I threw in the kind of brim around the hat and everything last week. And again, it feels like an afterthought. So I think we're going to have to work on that today, just to bring it together a little bit more, because I'm not feeling it just yet. So let's see what we can't pull together here, because like I keep saying, we can fix it in the digital, but I don't want to rely on that either. I don't want that to be my go-to. I want there to be I want a lot of it to be most of the way there before I put it in. Charis is from the Netherlands. No snow at the moment. Bummer. Everybody's from all over tonight. I'm loving this. So cool. You guys are awesome. Okay. So let's try this. We'll just throw a little bit more, some of this color in here, because this kind of pulls in some of the purples that we had with this tan color we have here. I don't know what we're going to do, but I just want to pull them together a little bit more because they feel like separate thoughts right now. We have Alessandra's drawing a cat listening to music. I love it. Okay. See, already kind of feeling a little bit like it's part of the illustration. We're using a lot of water on this one particular piece. So my page is really crinkly. So I think when this dries out, I may just sit both of these papers, like once they're fully dry, I'll set them under like a book or something just to flatten them out, because I'm going to put them on my iPad. Like I'm just going to take a photo of them. That worked really well last time. Just because my computer has surpassed my scanner, unfortunately, so I have to work through that later. So crinkly right now. I love the Behance chats because everybody's so like interactive and welcoming to one another. So fun. Everybody wants to like share ideas and what they're working on. I love it. Such good energy. So I didn't set out for this guy to be a groovy gnome, but he's very groovy. We have D Colt. Hey D. Welcome to the stream. If you're doing watercolor painting, thank you so much. Yes, these guys I mentioned earlier in the stream, these are kind of a base painting for gnomes that we're going to put in digital next week. I'll actually show you the kind of idea that we're going with here, so see if it'll show up okay. This is one I did last year. So he was all in watercolor, and then in digital I finished it off. And then this guy's another one. And, oh no, where's my sweater weather one? And then this guy here, they're in a plastic, so it's a little shiny. But the watercolor feel and the energy there, and then I'm gonna digital just to clean them up just a tiny bit. We have, I don't do watercolor, but I do get the same paper. But do you get the same paper feel in fresco? I like how the color spreads on the paper. Yeah. Yeah, so the I like the watercolor brushes in fresco. I can't smudge them. I'm not getting my hands too dirty tonight, but last week I had my hands all in the paint and everything. I do like a really toothy paper when I'm using watercolor, so when there's a lot of texture coming through. I don't find that that's the case in fresco as much, but I'm sure there's ways you could kind of replicate it. I do like that there's less point of no return in fresco though. So it's everybody's got their own thing. I like the pick up and go of fresco, but then watercolor's pretty versatile as well. So it really depends on what you want to do. And how you want to do it. I think so, there was one of the gnomes, I think maybe the sweater weather gnome, I did a little bit of watercoloring, or like I watercolored like the skin tones in because I wasn't getting the right paint mixture. So I think that you could make it work, but I do like the toothiness and kind of getting my hands dirty situation. D Colt says, I love the watercolor, completely different from what I do, so that's a nice change. What kind of work do you do? I will check out profiles afterwards. In fact, I'm afraid of losing all my windows, but if you want to share with the group, we're all here to listen. Okay, so he's not too shabby. All my cords are in the way. Here we go. Again, so much water. Oh my goodness. This guy's only meant for big washes. I just want to break this up a little bit. Oh, maybe I'll show you so you can see. Some of these lines came in a little harsher. So I want to make sure that it kind of bleeds over the whole thing. So yeah, the point is to have as much of this fun here, and then we're going to get them into a printable state. All right, like I said, I have a different plan for this daisy here because I kind of like I did a few sketches of daisies. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted my most recent garden bookmark, and it has a couple daisies in it, and I had a couple sketches that I didn't use, so I'm going to try some of those daisies. Just have a little bit more life. This sketch feels a little flat, and I just don't think it's what I want for this today. Char says, I love the gradients, haven't done watercolor for ages. That's also kind of what prompted these guys. I went to an open studio. We have a really great space here where I'm at, and I went to open studio, and I was just kind of deciding I didn't want to do more digital work because I wanted to get my hands dirty. And so I was like, you know what? I had this really idea for a gnome. I thought, you know what? I'll draw one and I'll take them in and see what the watercolor comes out of it. And then I did the 3 that I just showed you and put them into my shop update, and they exploded. And now I have a huge long list of different kinds that people want to see. So I get lots more gnome fun coming my way. So I'm very excited about that. But it's a good excuse to get some watercolor down, because I do love getting my hands dirty and doing some traditional stuff too. Like, I'm enjoying the pick up and go of the digital and the less risk that the digital gives me. But it's nice to get my hands dirty now and again. Okay, I wasn't going to do anything with the rainy day gnome, but I think we're just going to richen up some of his stuff here. I think it's great. I sometimes miss the handmade painting and illustrations. Same, yeah, like I find a lot of my work, like some of the fresco stuff, if you go into my profile, you'll see all the stained glass work that I did last year. A lot of it started sketched. Well, most of them started with a sketch, but I build them up a lot more outside of digital and then bring them in. I streamlined that to be more digital as I kind of got familiar with my style. But I find I like the mix of the two. So I like to have, rather than it be completely digital all the time, I like to have an element of this. I have some collage stuff that I did in an open studio one time that I want to play with to kind of, I don't know if I would get to a digital element with them, but I like to have a mix mash of them just to kind of round out a piece, or kind of let each element, like the watercolor here, these gradients, I wasn't going to get in fresco nicely. Mixed media, that's what I'm looking for. I wasn't gonna get that, so I know I can get that done digital, like done outside of the digital, but then I know the cleanup and everything like that, the more precise stuff, I can get in a digital space. So I like to mix and match. I even did a commission last year. If you watch the live streams at the end of last year, I did a commission for a colleague, and I watercolored it as far as I felt comfortable taking it, and then went to a digital stage with it. It still looks like I still drew it like it was pencil crayon and watercolor, but I was at a point that I didn't want to take the risk of completely wrecking it, and I could delete a layer is a lot easier than starting from scratch. So I like to mix them. That's how I prefer to do it, because I think every element has its pros and cons, and I think it's they have their own thing that they can contribute to a piece. All right, I'm not gonna do too much with this guy. Like I said, I'm really living for the energy that we have here. I'm just gonna kind of enrich some values. I think there's a couple harsh lines on the hat that I want to fix, but I can relate them often. Edit it later on as well. Yeah, I try not now with acrylic to keep it handmade. Yeah, that's cool. There was a piece I did on the streams last year and the year before, and it's all acrylic mixed media. Like there was no digital element to it, and it was so much fun to pick away at because I went in with no. Oh, hang on. No, come here to me. Good boys, quiet. Come here. No, to me. Lie down. Those babies are just going. No, excuse you. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Children in the hall. Yeah, so like I did like it was 2 fish. I think they're on the live stream, so you can go back and check on them. But it was fun because I went in with zero plan, and I came out with what I came out with, and I was so excited about it. But it was all traditional and stuff. Mojo made me jump. He made me jump. He makes us all jump. I'm sorry, guys. Everybody. I'm so new. What kind of dog do you have? I'm so new. Well, I'm glad you're here, Nathan. Thanks so much. You're here now, and that's cool. I have a Pomeranian Chihuahua. He's a tiny little guy, and he'll come hang out with us in a minute. He's just having a small timeout. He doesn't like the neighbors. The neighbors were in the hall, and they didn't have his permission to be in the hall, so now we have a problem. Yeah, I was a little loud, Mojo. He's done that when I have like a hot cup of coffee, like right by my face. It's a scary business. He's just protecting us. He doesn't want anybody to interrupt our stream. Okay. Just want to make this line a little less harsh. Yeah, I think like what you said, Charis, about the edit later, I think that takes a lot of the pressure off. Like if I'm going to finalize, like a lot of the work that I would, when I started doing digital work, was very much like layouts or very finalized, like very tiny details, maybe some color adjustment, just little things. And they're bigger and bigger changes now that I get used to the tools and I know what they can do for me. But I think also it takes the pressure off. Like I would be going a lot slower or just not taking as many color risks or something with these. If I knew these were the final, I had no way to fix the error. I think I would get in my head a lot. And so just knowing that digital option is there to just bail me out. If I do something silly, then it lets these take off a little bit further. Come here, buddy. Do you want to come say hi to the people? No? Come here, buddy. To me. Okay, you can stay there. Just takes the pressure off and makes it more fun. Come here. No? Okay. He's been so good the past couple streams. He just was having none of the business this week. Just livening up some of this yellow here. A bear hiking. Oh my gosh. Are all these illustrations on the same postcard, Alessandra? How big is your postcard? It's going to be fabulous. There we go. There we go. Nice and bright. I love it. Yeah, this one's pulling together a lot better than the rest of them. He's playing the game. Look at him go. So much energy. I love it. Sandra says, yes, it is. Let's just say it's not your average size postcard. Okay, fair enough. All the animals I'm going to do. 6. Oh my goodness, that's a big postcard. Canada Post would have words with mailing that guy. But, you know, Canada Post has words about things anyway. So, okay, let's see. Okay, this one's dry a little bit more. I'm going to carefully add a little bit more to this guy, I think. So I'm afraid of wrecking the rain guy. So Nathan says, I'm going to leave for a while. 6:49 now and I have to eat dinner. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, Nathan. I hope you have a great night, and I'll be back next week. Hope to see you then. Have a good night. Enjoy your dinner. Yeah, I couldn't resist. Sorry, the comment that I'm laughing at, sorry, is love it, that umbrella and the hat over his hat are, eyes are too funny. I couldn't resist the tiny umbrella. I really couldn't resist it. And it just, oh my gosh, I'm so stoked. It's going to be pretty funny. Yeah, it works really well. Yeah, sometimes I love like those just little tiny bits of inspiration. Like I wasn't even going to give him an umbrella, but it was like, you're just sitting there, you look so sad. So the umbrella, yeah, adds a little bit of whimsy. Can't believe only 10 minutes left in my stream. I know, so sad. Almost every time I sit down to do the stream, I think, oh, maybe I should extend it to 2 hours. But Mojo would not be my friend. And I would run out of things to talk about. Maybe like once a month I'll do like 2 hours or something. Or do like a bonus stream or something. Because you are correct. The 1 hour kind of blows by. I don't know how it happens. It's too much fun. Your 2 hour stream flew by. Yeah, I don't think I caught the full 2 hours, but yeah, you're right. Like I was surprised. It was actually kind of funny because yours is a silent stream, Alessandra. So I just had it on my iPad and I was kind of like tuning in because I was at work. So I wanted to make sure I was working, which I was. And so I would just tune in, but it'd be really funny because I'd forget the iPad was there a little bit and your arm would like go over the screen. And I'd be like, what's happening? It would startle me. I just wasn't, I would just lose focus for a second. It was just kind of funny. Because I'm used to, like, if I'm here at home, I'll watch it on my big computer. So I'm expecting some movement. But the iPad was a new experiment today, and I wasn't expecting it. Okay. I'll just get a little bit more depth into this hat here. Chara says, I haven't done streaming before, but maybe I will. I'm not very good at multitasking. It takes some practice, for sure. I know my first few streams, I ummed a lot because I was trying to contemplate what I was doing. But you'll get used to it, depending on what artwork you do, what you style. And what style you do, and how much focus you need. Because I found I would get kind of good at picking pieces that had kind of a rhythm to them. So it wasn't as big of a deal if I was not focused. I'd kind of get used to it, or it would be interesting enough that it would be okay if I wasn't talking for a minute. Hey Mojo, do you want to come see the people? We're almost done, bud. Almost. See? There's Mojo. I'm hoping to do a voice stream one day, but I'm nervous. It's okay. If you have something to say, like I kind of want to fill the silence, but I try and be careful and not just ramble too much. Some of the streams have been a little rambly. And some are less so, if I have more to talk about. But really just kind of like, you can talk about your process. Or you can just talk about Nothing. Some people just have music on. Just be careful with licensing and stuff. But generally, like, it's whatever you want to do. If you have something to share, go for it. But you can also do the silent streams like Alessandra's. Those are also still entertaining. She's answering the questions and stuff in the chat. You're seeing the work she's working on. It's all a fun time, but also no pressure. If it's not your jam, it's not your jam. But as you can see, the Behance community is pretty supportive and helpful. So we're all here for questions if you need it. Hi. Everybody says hello to the Mojo because he's so cute. Yeah, like Alessandra says, I want to have music on in the background, but some of the license and stuff seems a lot of work. I think there's a lot, I think actually even through Adobe, there's a lot of like license-free music that doesn't have licenses on it. It's like open source music that you can use. It won't be anything, obviously, like you won't be listening to anything that's like super well known, but it will just be like music in the background that you can be licensing. I feel like that's what Odari does, but I can't speak for him. But just like, you know, just like some tunes in the back to fill the silence. Your transition into talking. All right. So before I work this into too much of a mess, let's go through what we have here. We have Superstar Rainy Umbrella Gnome. And then we have a Groovy Gnome. And then we have our Snowy Day Gnome and our Valentine's Day Gnome. So, okay, so this is going to be all we're going to do tonight. I'm going to leave everybody to go. I'm going to finalize any little tiny bits that I feel I need to do before I get these guys onto the iPad. I'm going to let them sit. I'm going to let them dry. And then, like I said, any watercolor or pencil crayon I might want to do before I go into the digital phase. And I'm going to get each and one of these onto my iPad before next stream. And next stream we'll go through the digital process so you can see what's going on and what I kind of work through there as far as getting these guys all wrapped up. But for now, I think I'll let you guys all get on with your evening. I'd like to thank everybody who's tuned in tonight. I really appreciate everybody from all over the planet. Oh, Dee's here. Hi, Dee. Thanks for tuning in. Tuning in from Canada. Another Canadian. Woohoo! We're from all over the planet today. We had Bangladesh, we have Netherlands, we had Texas, we've got a few in the United States, everywhere. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys all get on with your evening. Dee, the stream will be online shortly, so you can watch the whole thing. And if you guys want to tune in next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, I will be back here. We will wrap up some of these gnomes here, get some digital happening, and kind of just pop them a little bit extra with that digital approach. But for right now, I hope you have a fabulously creative week, and I will catch you all next week. Have a good week, guys. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.